Hello and welcome to our final episode of the year, guys, for Frack The Canon. I'm Rene Mendoza, the hostess with the mostest, joined by Tyler Weist and Sara Bennett. And always, and the host, and last but not least, CJ McCree from Milwaukee. What is up, good sir? How are you?
What's up? I am the co-hostess with the...
Second mostest? Unfortunately... Alright, so unfortunately, we couldn't have Rene join us today. We were having technical difficulties and we just had to get the show going. Rene, I'm sorry. Next time, I promise. I'm really mea culpa. So we saw the photo of what we want to talk about Sonic. So we're here to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. That picture is what started off. Can we get that picture back up, please, of that abomination that is Sonic the Hedgehog? That is disgusting, right, guys? That is, like, horrible.
Stuff of nightmares.
Right. We all know Sonic as the video game. Like that's what I grew up with, Sonic the Hedgehog, the video game. We have a clip of the opening of the video game. Can you please roll that clip, please? Do you guys remember that? Like, which one of you guys, how many of you guys play Sonic? Like,
I still own a Genesis.
do you really?
Yeah.
I missed
So
it.
I can play it, actually.
Yeah, I saw Sonic on Xbox. Still play.
Oh, look at you, Xbox. PlayStation.
Yeah,
But
sorry. I know you have allegiances.
I do have my allegiances. CJ, what did you think about Sonic the Hedgehog as a kid?
Oh man, I'm a huge Sonic fan. You know what I mean? I got Sonic Mania on Xbox right now. I play that every once in a while.
All right, but so we were all the video games. There was Sonic, there was Knuckles, there was Tails. Like I remember when they came out, I'm like Sonic and Knuckles. What is that? What is an enchila? And this little, but it was amazing. And then it became a cartoon. Do you guys remember watching the cartoon?
I didn't watch it.
Did you watch the cartoon?
No.
It was amazeballs. I would go to. I think it came out in second grade, third grade. Can we roll that clip, please, of the intro? Of the cartoon of the intro. Second video. Amazing memories. Millennials, kindergarten or third grade. I think it was third grade. So obviously Sonic was a big part of our childhood '90s kids. But I've noticed something that's happening a lot. I don't know if what you guys think about it, but the outrage of that Sonic, the movie trailer, was horrendous. I'm like, all right, you guys changed it, you redesigned it, but at what point is it too much? Like, how much fan outcry is too much? Like, I'm like, all right, cool, you guys are listening to the fans, are listening to what they want, but how much is too much? Like,
Well, this is the only example where I'd be like, okay, this is an example when cancel culture is appropriate because the movie isn't out yet. We could save the train wreck before it happened.
interesting.
So that's like my only exception of cancel culture.
Well, I think, yes, in this situation, it makes sense because if people don't like it, they aren't going to go see it. Like, it wasn't out already. And they were still in the process of doing it. I mean, that's why they do test screenings, so that people can kind of give feedback. So if something is horrifically wrong,
okay.
like, they can fix it. And this was just kind of like the whole internet was a test screening of, like, this is awful. So.
All right, CJ, your thoughts?
I mean, actually, when Sara puts it in that perspective, it kind of like helps me to kind of understand the other side a little bit better. Because like on this, I was kind of on the fence about this, because on the one hand, like as a creator, you know what I mean, you know how much work you put into something that it takes to create something like this, you know what I mean, and it's very easy to just kind of write all that work off and kind of say, oh no, this is ugly, like what are you guys doing, you know what I mean? But like this does represent a lot of work that people have done, but on the other end, you know what I mean, when they fixed it, like it looks way better though, like now it looks like something I might be interested in seeing,
Well, and to me, this is a difference between a creator and like this movie's made by Hollywood, which is like a business. This isn't like us with a video camera and just going out and making a film and having a vision, or even like an indie film where people are like, this is my passion project. This is a big studio making a picture to make money. And I know there's people on it that are creative and they put their heart into it, but in the end, it's made to make money for the studio.
Interesting. So let's see the redesign, and then we'll go back on that. Can we show the side-by-side comparison video, please? All right, so you have a good point. Like, it is to make money, but at one point, that was someone's artistic view, and everyone's just like, "Frack you, your artistic view is horrible." Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? What do you guys think?
If there is someone's vision, it still made it through a pitch meeting. It still made it through all the lines of producers and people funding it. So when I first saw the trailer, I'm like, when is Hollywood going to figure out the Uncanny Valley is a terrible place to go?
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it never looks good. And this is just another example of another video game movie that could have been totally ruined by something that everyone knows is terrible. And it was like the ugliest thing you could think of. It was like Sonic the movie starring Sonic. So yeah, I'm all about that outcry. Yeah, let's stop it before it happens.
All right, CJ, let's go back to you. Your thoughts, sir.
I forgot what I was saying because I was laughing at that joke.
It was a great joke.
No, I guess it comes down to how much of this was motivated by, like you said, like this did go through a pitch meeting. This did go through like multiple levels of people before it got to us in an original trailer.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those people actually cared about Sonic fans, I guess, that it went through, and how many of those people were just like kind of like how Sara said, I guess interested in making money would be, I guess the breaking point on this, something that we would never know, I guess too,
Okay, that's true, because I guess it was reported somewhere that I guess the redesign cost like $30.5 million just to redesign, and that's just a character too. I'm like, what was it worth it though? Is that much money? Is it gonna? I was still gonna go see it. I was gonna make fun of it, but I'm like, now I am.
Well, do you guys remember the TV show Marvel's Inhumans?
The one that was after like less than a couple episodes?
Yeah, so my experience with that was it premiered at Comic-Con, and everyone that came out of the panel was like, this is the worst piece of garbage I've ever seen. The costumes suck, the whole, like everything sucks about it. And then ABC was like, well, we're still gonna send it out and try to get people to watch it. And as you said, like, I don't even know if they made it through the whole first season. So it's kind of, and that's coming from a Marvel property, something that has, like, I mean, they have the highest grossing movie of all time right now. So it's like, did Sonic want to do the same thing as that?
Fair enough. Well, first of all, it's the Human, so frack that franchise. It did have Serena Swan, and she is pretty. So is this a good thing or a bad thing? As we're creators, we work and we create stuff. At what point is it too much? Like, for example, recently, Game of Thrones just ended, and people hated that the last season. Like, I just didn't give a frack about that show. But Sara, what are your thoughts? Like, there's a petition on change.org. We have a screen grab of the. Can you guys show the screen grab of?
Change.org?
Change.org. There we go. I think it's the fourth one. That one, yeah. It's just got a bunch of signatures on it.
Yeah.
Like, to remake it, like, all right, at what point? Is it a millennial thing? Is it just thing?
For me, that ship has sailed. So, as opposed to Sonic, this has already been released and came out and it ended the story, and obviously, it was not what the fans wanted. It was very rushed. they took everything that made Game of Thrones good and changed it into like almost, not that Spielberg does a bad job, but they took something that was definitely not Spielberg and gave it a Spielberg ending.
Ooh.
And Spielberg action scenes and all the other stuff, and it just was wrong for the franchise. But as I said, it's out now. Like I don't think they can go back and change it at this point.
I'm with her. Same thing I said about Sonic applies. Like, if we're trying to prevent a disaster from happening, not go back in time and rewrite
Kill Hitler kind of thing.
Kill Hitler kind of thing, yeah.
All right, that's interesting. CJ.
I agree with what they were saying. Like, I mean, it's out. What is the point of changing? Like, beyond like a different cut, you know what I mean? Beyond like a director's cut or a special cut of something like the road cut from Days of Future Past or something like that, or director's cut of Dark City. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, these are like different takes that would have been had nobody else meddled in it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But, like, that's different from let's redo this thing that we just did. You know what I mean? Like, it's out. For better or worse, it's out. You know?
Interesting.
And we do kind of get a redo on Game of Thrones because people that are really fans, the book has not come out yet, if it ever does. I mean, that's another whole other
If people still
subject.
Those who read, which is like 5 of us.
Yeah, well,
Period. If people still read.
yeah, but if someone's really mad at the ending, they can go and read the source material and get, because he hasn't written it yet, so that's going to be a way to redo it.
So was that a thing too? You think that they the first couple seasons had source material that it's gonna, well, maybe if we did this, make it better, and then this was like, it was just like, here you go, do your thing.
Yeah, well, they didn't have any source material to make the final season from.
Didn't George R.
He's consulted on it, but apparently I don't know how much of this is backpedaling and how much of it is real, but like he said that a lot of his ideas weren't used, or like they took what his vision was and shaped it into what they wanted, because he did not write the scripts for the final season.
Okay. So another thing that was another franchise that people hated was Star Wars, Episode 8, Last Jedi. I thought it was fine. I thought it was different. But again, there's a petition for change.org for that movie, because it's about to come out, the new one's about to come out in a couple of weeks, right? Mm-hmm. But there's also a change.org petition to get that thing, get it on canon. What do you, yeah, make it not canon. Make it, or just, what do you guys think about that? Because it has happened, but at one point I'm like, how much of it is it just, again, me talking again, people just being so instantly gratified? Like, is the fanboy culture, the comic culture, I guess the nerd culture, just like, we want to have it our way? Or is it now because we have social media that it's so...
Yeah, social media definitely applies, amplifies their voices, but something that everyone forgets before they even write all these articles, they don't have to go see the movie.
What?
Yeah, that they have the power of money at their side.
That's true.
Like, if it's terrible, don't go.
Well, the other thing too, like, I actually liked the movie.
I did too.
I even liked it better than The Force Awakens, because to me it was its own thing. The Force Awakens was kind of like a conglomeration of the original trilogy. But I also think that in this case, the internet was kind of skewed, because if you're mad about something, you're way more likely to post about it than if you're just like, oh, I enjoyed that. Like, you know, it's a self-selecting voice that's being heard, I think, in this case.
Interesting. No, that's a good point. I didn't think about it like that. CJ, we don't have to talk about it, but let's just let the fans know. Hi, Mom.
I thought Last Jedi was fine. You know, there are things about it that I love. There are things about it that I don't like so much. But as far as trying to change something, like, I definitely feel like the voice seems a bit louder than it deserves to be against this movie. You know, and you know, it's like. It's like, whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's not a perfect movie, but like, at what point, like, does your fandom own this movie? You know what I mean? Like, do you being a fan of Star Wars mean that you own Star Wars more than the person making Star Wars. Like, I don't know.
Ooh.
Like, I don't think so. You know, like,
That's a great
you know, maybe
question.
you're not a fan of the Last Jedi, but you like the rest of the Star Wars, I guess.
All right, let me take that question and put it to you guys. Does your fandom of Star Wars give you the right to give you ownership over the franchise?
Well, we don't own the franchise, but we fund it. So like,
Okay,
if
interesting.
we don't go, then they don't make their money back.
Interesting, Sarah.
Well, and I said I think especially with something that large, it really speaks to people. Like, I mean, as a property, it's owned by Disney, but I think it's been such a fan culture for so long that I think it's really hard to separate the fans out of it. But you also kind of have to, because we got The Force Awakens. That's the fan movie that was made out of this, property, and we can't have that every movie.
Okay. And we're done. No, I was kidding. No, go ahead. No,
So we were talking about amplifying voices.
Right.
And I just have an example. I just saw Ford v Ferrari. It's a great movie.
I need to see that.
Please do. No commercial here, but I just enjoyed it. So, I think you would too. But Ford v Ferrari wise, there's a Variety article that came out. That's an opinion piece,
Okay.
and it was by some activist who was like, Ford v Ferrari is male dominated and it's patriarchally oppressing women by existing. And
I think no lie. I think I actually saw that article. I was like reading. I'm like, this is BS. But that was just my point. No, but I'll read that. I'm reading that article. I'm sorry if I say that.
Context though is Ford v Ferrari is based on a true story with real characters. Carroll Shelby is a real person, and everyone else in the movie is a real person. And it's a historical period piece about a male-dominated field, which is racing, and that's understandable. But the article exists, and it's an opinion piece.
Right.
20 years ago, this would be in the back of a magazine that no one would ever read. Now it's on the internet, and afterwards, what happens is conservative media outlets are like, see, the activists. The feminists are attacking Hollywood, and then it just spreads everywhere. And now this tiny voice that 20 years ago would have been something no one ever read is now all over the internet. Mm-hmm. And I think the internet is a weird thing where people are trying to use what people say and just make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
So real life clickbait is what you're saying. It's what I'm understanding. Okay.
Yes. Any tiny opinion which would be minuscule in one period of time is now ginormous because of clickbait.
Well, what do you guys think about the exercise bike commercial that everyone thinks is super sexist?
I did not see that, but what is that?
It's kind of the same thing. Like, so basically, this husband gets his wife an exercise bike for Christmas. This very fit-looking woman, and she uses it every day and changes her life, and she blogs about it, and that's the whole basis of the commercial. And I think the outrage is that well, she doesn't even need it. She's already fit, and what is her husband supposed to make her more fit by getting her this? And everyone can have their opinion over it. I don't really care. It's a commercial, whatever. But the company lost $1 billion of value because of their stock price plummeting. Yeah. So there's actually real life consequences from this supposed internet outrage.
I do have thoughts. Now that I know, I do have thoughts. I see your thoughts on that because I do have some stuff. I'll come.
That's so crazy because I literally just watched the commercial right before I had to call you guys. Because I read an article about it. I read an article about Ryan Reynolds just came up with a spoof for the commercial with the same actress who was in that commercial. And so I was like, okay, well, let me, check out the commercial or whatever itself. And kind of like Sarah said, it seems like a well-meaning, inoffensive commercial, I guess. And maybe that's just from my POV, But it seems like just an unassuming commercial, but it has kind of, I don't know, it seems like it's been blown out of proportion. I don't know, and that's just my opinion, But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I agree with kind of what everybody's been saying. People have been using these little opinions that didn't have much of a voice before, maybe 20 years ago or so, and magnifying them. maybe to further their own, agendas or whatever, but who knows?
Because now that I know that, I'm like, because when I lost weight, when I started getting fit, I'd have to keep, like, how do people stay fit? By keep working out constantly. Maybe I don't know. See, this is what outrages me. I'm outraged by outrage of the culture. So that's what I want to talk about too. Most of these days, that as not just nerdum culture, but as society in general becoming not, and we're normally not this.
Well, I just
show,
think
but
things are amplified that shouldn't be. Like, we talked about Star Wars and the character Rose in it. Like, the real actress was so attacked on the internet for what I thought, she was playing a role, like, that was written for her, and it was a person of color in a movie that historically had very little people of color in it.
the guy's so white.
And, yeah.
far away.
And she was so bullied online that she quit all her social media. And, like, what are we, like, I don't think that's okay. As I said, it was a job.
All right, so talking about genders too. There was this anime that I used to watch. I watched still. It's called Saint Seiya.
Saint Seiya.
And they came out with the modern version of it. But one of the characters was always very effeminate. Even his armor was pink. And in the new, can we show that picture? And in the new armor, she's a girl now. They made her girl like that makes sense. So I'm like, and people were harassing the creator so much. I'm like, he went offline too. I'm like, all right, this is what's. At what point is that, like? Are you crossing, like?
Well,
or is it just okay? Wait, sorry.
Harassment is the layup. Like, you shouldn't be attacking people for something they created. Like, it should never get personal. Like, it should be about the creation, not like their lives. Like, I have a YouTube channel and I've said things that may offend people, and I've gotten death threats.
Have you really?
Yeah.
For what? For, like, if you want to talk about it, like, what was it?
I forget. It happens
all the time. Like,
all the time.
Pick one.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to, what is your YouTube channel?
Oh,
hi, Mom.
Tyrant60. I just use it as like my portfolio, but also I have times where I want to rant and rave about this random thing. So thank you for letting me promote that.
Promote me! Promote me!
I got something that frustrates me about cancel culture.
Go ahead, let's do it.
Sarah, you mentioned that the bike thing lost $1 billion in revenue.
The company devalued.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah,
that's what you said.
It wasn't actual real money. It was the stock value.
That is insane.
Which, in a way, will affect the value of the company, which will lead to jobs being lost. People are losing their jobs over things like this, and something people do, is now go after people's jobs.
So that's something that kind of pisses me off, is that people in the past made mistakes, but they're not doing that anymore.
Right.
But they're going back. So that one comedian from SNL, he got the job, but he made jokes in the past.
Yeah.
That were I don't condone racism, but it was like, all right, it was in the past.
Yeah.
I think he apologized that I'm not a person anymore.
Right.
But he still got fired. I'm like,
yep.
Are people not allowed to have mistakes? Like, how are you supposed to grow if you don't make mistakes? Like,
yeah, James Gunn, for example.
James Gunn.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 would be coming out next year if it weren't for him having to take a hiatus because of his tweet 10 years ago.
Sarah or CJ, anyone comment on that?
I mean, that's like FBI level of you know what I mean? Like it is, you know what I mean? Like it's that level of spotless record that you have to be for some of these companies, you know what I mean? Like or that they have proven, you know what I mean, that you have to be now, you know what I mean? Obviously they went back on James Gunn because they're not idiots, but it's I don't know, like what I agree completely with what you have said, Rene, you know what I mean? Like if it happened yesterday, that's one thing. But if it happened like 5 years ago, you know what I mean? And like, I mean, everybody's social media are so easily accessed. You know what I mean? We can see what type of things you're tweeting. You know what I mean? If you have been, it's like if you have been on the up and up. You know what I mean? Since,
right?
You know? I don't know, and it's like, is there a statute of limitations on that? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. That's like how we as a society have to decide. You know what I mean? And a lot of things are decided by mob rule, and mobs are so very fickle. You know.
It is feeling like it's becoming mob rule. Internet is mob rule lately. Like I don't.
Yeah, the James Gunn tweet about that, he deleted it. Someone
really?
took a screenshot and sent it years later. This was like something he had already long time ago said, oh, maybe that's a bad idea. Maybe he was drunk or something. Can't even delete it anymore.
Well, I just think there needs to be a way, because I do think when we see things that are not right, we need to like address it. Like there definitely is some things that are done that I think are inappropriate, but there needs to be a way to address it that we don't like just instantly vilify and attack the person. I mean, depending, there are shades. Like,
Right.
Okay.
this isn't like a Harvey Weinstein thing, you know. But like there's people that you can be like, you know, they learned. Like, you need to be able to have people grow and change rather than just like instantly like attack them.
Never work again.
Yeah.
Yeah, forgiveness is no longer a thing.
That's what I'm noticing. It's kind of. But Sonic forgive. If Sonic, we forgive Sonic. They heard us. They said, all right.
They fixed it.
They fixed it.
Yeah.
So what you're
We're gonna
saying
go see
is fix it before we.
Maybe for like people can change, like, and I think that applies to Sonic as well. You made a mistake, you fixed it. Now we'll support you.
Now let's see Tails.
Yes. And Knuckles and Shadow.
Shadow.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Shadow. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Let's bring out the Chaos Gems.
Yes, bitch. CJ.
See that?
The final thoughts.
It's a shame that Rene couldn't have been here.
I know, Rene, I'm so sorry. We're having technical difficulties. Like, it would have been great if you could have come. I'm pretty sure you just texted me a couple times that I just heard. But, yeah, no, so again, thank you everyone for any final words before we take off? No one? TJ? Okay. Thank you to the crew. Thank you to the director. Thank you for my panels. Will you guys come back again?
Yeah.
Yeah? The TJ, you're the co-host, second co-host, so duh. Alrighty, thank you guys. Next year, 2020, ranking the MCU universe maybe, and we'll talk. Christ on Infinite Earths. We'll come back with Christ on Infinite Earths.
Oh yeah.
I saw the trailer.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Yeah.
What did you think?
I've been avoiding the trailer because
Why?
I want to be surprised.
Kevin Conroy.
See, CJ, another you, CJ. All right, bye.
Yeah,